Now, we need to understand that the deep state, they coordinated this entire event. They planned this out. And this is not just here in the U.S. This has to do with the central bank, the deep state, the globalists, and those people who are invisible. They planned this event, and they thought they were going to be able to do everything that they were trying to do in the past, but never can get it done. They believe that this is their time. They're going to get it all done. And we'll be talking about this because we know the Patriots, they saw this coming. They understood that they were going to save the best for last. And they used this against them. But again, does that mean the deep state gives up? No, they continue on. They push forward until the very end. They will never give up because they always want control. Because if they give up, they're done for. So they're fighting for their lives right now with everything they have because they know that it's game over. Now, let's start off with what is happening here. The Democrats, they delayed the 2020 National Convention over coronavirus right now, which was a given. Everything's closed down, works in Biden's favor. This is exactly what they wanted. They're pushing the mail-in vote right now. That's another part of their agenda. The other part of their agenda is, well, we couldn't get Trump with the first impeachment. Let's start another investigation and investigate how he's handling coronavirus, because Nancy Pelosi, and we know that Adam Schiff, he already mentioned this, but Nancy Pelosi tweeted out the following. The Congress has so far passed 3 pieces of legislation totaling over $2 trillion in emergency relief. To ensure that our tax dollars are being spent carefully and effectively, I am announcing the formation of the bipartisan House Select Committee on the Coronavirus Crisis. So she wants to make sure that this money, where they said it was going to go, it's going to go. They're creating this committee, and they're going to use this to try to steer the money where they want it to go. Now, remember, we're under a national emergency. Trump signed the Defense Production Act. So, once again, under a national emergency, just like with building the wall, Trump can say, you know something? No, we need to spend the money here. Now, very interestingly, Adam Schiff, he's eager to start his 9/11 style commission to investigate the federal government's handling of the coronavirus outbreak. And Doug Collins is sending him a warning. He said, at a certain point in time, there will be a look back at this. There will be a look back at how it happened and how it came about. But I also think there's going to be a look back here, and that I'm not sure Adam Schiff wants to talk about, and that is China's role in this, and the fact that as an Intelligence Committee chairman, he was so wrapped up in impeachment when all this hit that I'm not sure that there was a slow response on both sides, because no one was looking at this, because he was so focused on the president and what he was trying to do in an election that we were missing basically China's role and others. So it's not just one individual. It's all these individuals. And think about when Trump came out in January and said, listen, we need to shut down the travel from China into the U.S. because if we don't, this is going to be a big problem. And they can bring up all the things, the mainstream media, the corrupt politicians, all the things that they said at that time. Even those who are running for president, where they said they wouldn't shut down the borders, they wouldn't shut down travel. And now look. He was right. They were wrong. Paul Sperry tweeted this out. Pelosi and Schiff are preparing to investigate Trump for allegedly mishandling COVID-19 outbreak, and they plan to focus on disproportionate infection rate among blacks to suggest some kind of racial negligence. They also call for rolling lockdowns through next fall. Why do you think they want lockdowns? Why do you think they want no one leaving? They want the economy to crash. They don't want anyone to go out to vote. They want everyone to use mail-in voting. Think about what they're concerned about right now. Does this sound like they're concerned about the global pandemic? Does this sound like they care about helping the people right now? It sounds like they care about helping themselves. Because is this the time to talk about mail-in ballots? Is this the time to talk about investigations? No. This is their true color right here. And then we have Sidney Powell. She came out and she dropped this, that her client was prepared to audit the U.S. intelligence community as White House National Security Advisor, saying that this is why he was set up. He was going to audit the intel agencies because he knew about the billions Brennan and company were running off the books. And that is John Brennan. And I know that John Brennan tweeted out because he's panicking because Trump is speaking to Saudi Arabia, the MBS Saudi Arabia, and Brennan right now from his tweet saying, oh, those are the ones that killed Khashoggi. You can see he is so panicked right now. Now, we know there's a lot of individuals getting coronavirus. A lot of royal stars, you name it. I should say Hollywood actors, actresses. And a lot of this is to push fear, like, oh, look, everyone's getting it. A lot of it is to say, okay, I have a decision to make. Now, actress Ali Wentworth, this is the wife of ABC's George Stephanopoulos, she came down with the coronavirus, and she's saying it's pure misery right now. Now, think about what the deep state, and I want to take both sides here now. Think about what the deep state plan was. All along, this is the 16-year plan. This is what they wanted. They wanted forced vaccinations. They wanted to remove rights. They wanted to make sure that people lost their rights. Now, can you lose your rights? No, they were going to try to convince everyone that you were losing your rights. Think about Common Core. Think about what they were trying to do here. They want censorship. They want cameras all over the place to track people. We're hearing now that we should track through cameras and through other technology those who are not standing apart. Think about what they're doing here. They wanted to manipulate the voting. They wanted helicopter money. They wanted to bring the U.S. economy down to a third world nation. They wanted the UN to control the world. They wanted to tax the population. They wanted climate change. They wanted carbon taxes. And today the UN came out and they want a 10% global tax to pay for the new shared responsibility program to address the coronavirus pandemic. What they are doing right now, they're doing everything they wanted to do in the past, and they're using this crisis to do it. And the problem with this is they're exposing what this world would look like. Do you want to live in this type of world? Because as they keep rolling out their demands, because I know Bill Gates is out there saying, listen, we're going to have forced vaccinations. We're going to have people that they're going to have to show their papers if they want to leave their homes. Actually, I believe in Denmark, there was a law that was just passed where they can force you now to get a vaccination. Think about what they're trying to do here. This has been their plan. And since they didn't get all those funds from the Paris Accord because Trump removed us from it, they decided, okay, we can make $8.7 trillion if we put a 10% global tax on this event. This is the deep state plan from the very beginning, and they're showing everyone this is what the world is going to look like. And people are going to start to realize we don't want to live in this world. Now, the deep state believes that this is their time, that they're finally going to get what they want. The Patriots, they were counting on this. They have just exposed everything to the world. And now, everything is going to change. Remember in that post 714, when Q said, oh, 2 clown ops, 44 to go, we're saving the best for last. P, I do believe that was pandemic. They knew what was coming. They knew that they were going to use this to try to do everything that they couldn't do in the past. And now, here we are. I do believe we're in the storm. And we'll be talking about that in just a second. But very interestingly, Jay on my, I don't want to say the person's name, Jay on my site commented, said, holy cow, Dave, I just put this together after your broadcast. The first social distance period was 15 days. The extended 30 days adds up to 45. That's Trump, the 45th president. And why did he pick 30? Why didn't he pick 15 again? Why didn't he pick 20? I do believe this was on purpose. And very interestingly, we know that right in the beginning, Trump mentioned hydroxychloroquine. and other drugs that go along with it. And again, this has to be prescribed by your doctor. He did this on purpose to start the narrative. The FDA approved it for emergency use. We see the New York Times, which we mentioned yesterday, they're starting to project out there. And now we have infectious disease specialist Dr. Stephen Smith, and he shared some exciting news that he's been treating coronavirus patients at Smith Center for Infectious Diseases and Urban Health in East Orange, New Jersey. And he revealed that not a single coronavirus patient under his care who was on the hydroxychloroquine regimen needed to be intubated. This is outstanding news. We're hearing this from all over the place right now, and everything is looking up. Again, how do you stop the panic, the fear, the chaos? You introduce a cure. If the FDA comes out and the FDA says, listen, we approve this drug, it can be used, it's very, very successful. It's actually the cure for this. What does everyone do? They say, oh, there's a cure? Great. Guess what? I don't have to worry about it. Just like antibiotics with strep throat. You already know there's a cure for it. So if you get it, you're not panicked. You go to the doctor, you get the antibiotics, and it's done for. This is the same thing. Trump, the Patriots, they'll be using this. The FDA is doing their tests. He's fast-tracked it. But during this period, we have other things that are happening. Now, very interestingly, we know that Trump wanted this social distancing. He didn't want a lockdown. If you notice, he never said lockdown, everyone stay in your homes, it's mandatory, it's law. Actually, governors are doing this. Small towns are doing this. Boy, is this exposing them, taking the people's rights away. Our founding fathers knew about pandemics. They didn't say, hey, by the way, if there's a pandemic, you lose all your rights. No. But what's very interesting, Trump did this on purpose. He wanted social distancing, and he wants everyone to continue with social distancing because we've already learned that a train engineer at the Port of Los Angeles was arrested on federal charges for running a locomotive at full speed off the end of rail tracks near the USNS Mercy. Now, this is Eduardo Moreno, 44, and he said, yes, this is exactly what he was trying to do. He was trying to ram the train into the ship. False flag, right? Now, let's go back to Comey's tweet. It's starting to make sense. There was a tweet where he was hanging off a rock with a red hat, and this is what he said. And this is from the Sharper Image. Trained. We know they use codes. Just a thought. So what did Comey say in his tweet? Climbing is good exercise, but only trained people should try these moves. So think about the train that went into the ship. Only trained people are able to take that locomotive, have it come off the track, and try to hit the ship. Trained. And it looks like he was signaling the false flag. Now, we know that General Flynn changed his banner, and there is a eagle, and now everyone's saying it's a coyote. From the original picture, they listed it as coyote, and this is why I do believe Flynn put this up there. He didn't put it up there because he thought it was a wolf, because in the caption below, it says an eagle and a coyote. So, White Boy Rick, he tweeted out the explanation of why Flynn put this up there, and it really fits into the entire picture. This is what the tweet says. There is much confusion surrounding General Flynn's new banner. Allow me to clear this up. It is not a wolf, but rather a coyote. Has nothing to do with Bush or Clinton. Coyote is another name for a human trafficker. Eagle versus coyote. My money is on the eagle. Watch the news. So let's dig a little bit deeper here. Coyotes, the smugglers that bring kids to the border. Human smuggling involves the voluntary intention to get yourself smuggled across international borders, and a smuggler or coyote is your facilitator. Human trafficking, on the other hand, is the transportation of people with the purpose of selling them or exploiting them in forced prostitution and other forms of labor. So I do believe that Flynn is talking about these coyotes, and they are on the run. Now, very interestingly, the U.S. Southern Command, they tweeted this out because yesterday Trump announced the enhanced counter-narcotics effort. And this is being done with 22 other nations. Let me read this tweet from U.S. Southern Command. Today, President Trump announced enhanced counter-narcotics efforts in SOUTHCOM area of responsibility. We're deploying additional Navy destroyers, combat ships, aircrafts, and helicopters, Coast Guard cutters, doubling our capabilities in this region. The U.S. Navy says we are ready. Take and listen to General Milley as he explains what they're doing, and think about, as he's speaking, who is he really speaking to?
Leadership, and I want to publicly thank Admiral Craig Fowler, the commander of U.S. Southern Command out of Miami, for leading this operation, which is underway effective today, and also Admiral Gilday, the Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Schultz, for their contributions to this from their services. There's thousands of sailors, Coast Guardsmen, soldiers, airmen, Marines involved in this operation. We came upon some intelligence some time ago that the drug cartels, as a result of COVID-19, were going to try to take advantage of the situation and try to infiltrate additional drugs into our country. As we know, there's 70,000 Americans die on an average annual basis to drugs. That's unacceptable. We're at war with COVID-19, we're at war with terrorists, and we are at war with the drug cartels as well. This is the United States military. You will not penetrate this country. You will not get past Jump Street. You're not going to come in here and kill additional Americans. And we will marshal whatever assets are required to prevent your entry into this country to kill Americans. So right now, the Navy has marshaled additional Greyhound ships from both PACOM and EUCOM and for the Naval Fleet at Norfolk. And they are set sail already, and they are in the Caribbean right now. In addition to that, there's 10 Coast Guard cutters, and there's Special Operations Forces and Security Force Assistance Brigades, along with Air Force reconnaissance aircraft. The bottom line is you're not going to get through. Now is not the time to try to penetrate the United States with illegal drugs to kill Americans. With the United States military, we will defend our country regardless of the cost. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Secretary.
Now, when you listen to him, he's speaking to the deep state players. Don't try anything. If you try something, you're going down. Now, Joe M., he tweeted this out. Drug cartels are the beating heart of the deep state and one of the primary sources of revenue. The hot war descending on Central America is a direct attack on the swamp right here at home, and now a focal point of the storm. Godspeed, Patriots. And we can see that we're starting to get information that they're going after certain individuals. So the question is, who is the real target? I do believe cartels, this is the power structure, but to get to the real targets, they have to go through the cartels, the MS-13 gangs and the rest, to get to, I do believe, the children. And coming out of Arizona, we're getting that a state grand jury indicted 9 Arizona men in January accused of soliciting illegal sex acts from undercover agents who were posing as minors on various social media websites and applications. From Europol, we're getting police around the world have taken down a global child abuse ring with links to over 40 countries through a Belgian investigation supported by Europol. And they're saying that with this global mission, they're expecting a lot more arrests. So does this mean everything is happening? Well, something is happening. And I like to go back to April 2nd, 2018, 2 years ago, 2-year Delta, to post 983. Now, we know the mission started yesterday. This is when it was announced. And April 2nd, it says SECT with bracket facing different ways. SEC1A, a slash, SEC pound, line, conf, B-Z, and then below it says run. So when I'm looking at this, it looks like the mission is a go. They are running. Then we go to post 985. This is all April 2nd, 2018. And it says, I am Beverly Eckert. My husband was killed during the 9/11 attacks. I rejected the $1.8 million from the government and filed a lawsuit against them instead. I was a loudmouth and a well-known figure in the 9/11 truth movement. Coincidentally, days after meeting President Obama, I died in a plane crash. Down below this, it says, hello Q, HRC 21209. Very bad. This right? Q said the timestamp is key. And I do believe that this is going to be coming up very soon. Now, just because Q says the timestamp is key doesn't mean 21209 is the key to anything, but we'll have to wait to see. Post 989. Now, this is very interesting. It says April with the kill brackets A, which might mean alert. IG report, seals broken, and this is A, capitalized, bold, in brackets, arrests. Why was Huber made public? Well, we know from past posts he was going after pedophilia rings. Why now? Everything has meaning. And then it goes A1, Tarmac, Iran, North Korea, Uranium One, FBI, Department of Justice, Mueller, border, wall, military start, big month. Oh, and election integrity. Everything that we see happening right now. And remember, North Korea is very important. Now, under this, it says Facebook, Amazon, Twitter, Google, big problems. And they do have big problems. There's an investigation going on. We have the anti-violation. We have 50 attorney generals looking at these companies. We see violations of the Sherman Act. Or is Q saying, in the coming days, these companies are going to shut down or block things, and there's going to be big problems? Post 990. Now, this is very interesting. And Anon said this. Now, this is again April 2nd. I still follow your lead on all this, relying more on the inquiry of those digging here. But March wasn't nearly as mad as what you sold us. Please don't build us up to break us down, Q. Now, remember, the dates don't mean that it's happening on that day. Did we just not see March Madness right now? Yes. Now, under this, Q says North Korea. And I do believe North Korea is going to be very important as we move forward. Let's go to post 993. I'm going to read this. This includes 992 within 993. So let me read this. April 2nd again. Marker. Everything is planned. Years. Message. Unity. Awakening. We fight. Lexington. Concord. Stay together. Under this, it says clean. Stage. Learn how to archive offline. I do believe there might be some type of interruption as certain information is released, as Trump tries to get the message out there. I do believe the emergency broadcast system will be used, and they'll try to shut things, not completely down, like the internet just go black. I mean, you won't be able to access certain things. And then under this, it says the streets will not be safe for them. And when you listen to some of the Hollywood actors and actresses and some of the posts that they're putting out there, a lot of it doesn't make sense. A lot of it seems like they're very, very panicked. Now, in post 994, this includes 993, but down below, this is very interesting. Operators on site, deep and safe. And it seems that when Q said the future is going to prove the past, when we're looking in the past, we're watching everything play out. And I do believe that these events that Q mentioned back in 2018, they're playing out now. And very interestingly, Dan Scavino Jr., he tweeted out a picture of the White House. Now, this time it's not green, it's white, but it's very dark around it. And he has 10 flags in his tweet, which I look at and I think 10 days of darkness. Now, I also said, let me look at post 10, because he gave us 10 flags. And when I go back to post 10, this is October 29, 2017, this is very interesting. He said, remember the FBI and military intelligence have an open investigation into the Clinton Foundation. Why did Comey drop this? Who was the FBI director during the Haiti crisis? How many kids disappeared? How much money sent to Clinton Foundation under disguise of Haiti relief went to Haiti? What countries donated big money to Clinton Foundation and why? How much was owed by accepting? When she lost, how would this be repaid? What did Obama do with the cash just prior to leaving office? Repayment to those who donated for favors, access. Again, good people were forced into bed with the evil under personal and family threats. Could you live with yourself helping to cover up such evil, despicable acts if given a safe way out? These people worship Satan. Some openly show it. Now, once again, there are other people saying that there's a countdown going on with Dan Scavino, and he's showed 9 matches, then 8 nurses. But we'll have to wait and see if this is actually a countdown. It has nothing to do with days or seconds or anything like that. It looks like it's a very fast countdown, if it is a countdown. And we'll have to wait to see. I want to see what happens later on if he puts more information out there and it really goes from 876. And once we get that pattern, we know that is definitely some type of countdown. Very interestingly, on Running the Race Twitter feed, I saw this, and I want to just keep this in the back of our head as we move forward. It says, Ray is a sleeper. He'll be activated when it's time. And this refers me back to post 3537. This is July 29, 2019. It says, Ray is a sleeper. Q just said future marker. Think about what's coming. Think about when will he be activated. And it seems like he might be activated. Now, Alexander Bauman put out a tweet with a picture, and I do believe this is Central Park. And in this picture, it shows a medical worker carrying a box into one of the tents, and in the box, or on the side of the box, it says Pampers. Now, that is very interesting because, like we said, from everything that we've been looking at, we do believe that these areas have been set up to help the children. And what's very interesting is right after the report yesterday, Trump set off on this mission and announced this mission. Now, just because he said this is enhanced narcotics mission doesn't mean that that's the only mission. Just like with COVID-19 and coronavirus, who created this? Who pushed the crisis out there? Are there other agendas playing behind this entire thing? The same thing goes with what Trump is doing. I do believe it's a mission in a mission. Yes, they're going after the cartels. It's the power structure. But I do believe the other mission is to bring the children out of the darkness and into the light. And we'll have to see how this all plays out as we move forward. But I do believe the Patriots, they understood what the deep state was doing. They understood the playbook. And if you know the playbook, you can make